show, we've got a real treat. So if you haven't been under a rock and you've been watching Netflix, you will notice in the top 10 of Netflix, there is a new show, and that is Warrior Nun. And what a show it is. And we've got the lead star with us, Alba Baptista. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. So let's talk about your show. How does it feel like to be the lead in now a hit Netflix show?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I had done lead roles in Portugal, but nothing worldwide for sure. So I'm still kind of adapting to this new reality, but it's so nice to feel all the love from different cultures and people from so many different generations. It's amazing.
And how's things changed for you since before you started filming to now it's been released? Because obviously the anticipation was enormous for the show because it was based on a comic book, and you've got the wonderful Simon Barry that is the showrunner, and his track record is absolutely immense for shows. So
Yeah.
how have things changed for you since the show has come out?
Well, I think naturally the exposure of being the lead of a show, but everyone's being really respectful and just quite curious about my background and myself as a person. So it's been nice to share that part of me, even though I was always a bit more shy
Yeah.
um, with that aspect in Portugal, and now I can't be. So I'm adapting. Yeah, the exposure and I mean everything for the positive, really. So many people have been watching the show and have been complimenting and casting directors as well. So hopefully this will open doors for something cool to come.
That is awesome. So, for everyone that's living under that rock, how would you
Mm.
describe the show and your character that you play?
Yes, that's a good question. So this is an adaptation of a comic book, an obscure comic book from the 90s called Warrior Nun Ariella. And if you look it up and you watch the show, you'll have difficulties finding the resemblances. But the thing is that Simon Barry chose to only pick out the universe that was created in this comic, which is a secret sect of young women who fight an evil that's unknown to society but are devout to God. And their leader is the warrior nun, who has superpowers with a divine artifact embedded in their back. And this is a generational position that happens. And my character, Ava, finds herself becoming the warrior nun without any will of becoming it. She resurrects from the dead right in the first episode. And so we embark on this journey right with her, and discovering this universe of the Order of the Cruciform Sword, and these beautiful ninja women. Yeah, so it's a lot of fighting, a lot of discovery. My character, the arc for this character is she's going to be torn between assuming this responsibility of being the leader of a group she didn't even know and simply following her desires and dreams. So yeah.
That's awesome. And for anyone that isn't aware of you, you have had a large career in Portugal, in film and TV. How does it feel now going into a mainly, English speaking role?
Yeah, I was a bit scared and insecure at first. I've been trying to internationalize my career for a couple years now, but I adapted more quickly than expected with the English language and the English acting. And it's interesting because I read a study that personalities of there's a percentage of our personality that shifts in accordance to which dialect we speak. And so that was really interesting, discovering that aspect with my acting and what kind of instincts would lead me in English.
Yeah.
And I did feel a difference. I think my comical side is more present in English than it is in Portuguese. So that was something new. Yeah.
And how did you get the role of Ava for the actual role of the show?
Well, there was a British agent, well, not a British agent, an Irish agent that saw my show reel And he invited me to this very restricted film festival where he invites annually a couple European actors, if he finds that they're suited to come to this festival. And that opened all the doors for me, because I had only worked in Portugal, and then all of a sudden I was invited because of my show Reel and my past experience. And that's where I met so many casting directors, including Suzanne Smith, who was the British casting director for Warrior Nun.
And when you was approached and you did the audition, at that point, what did you think about the show to come? What did you think of the project?
Well, I remember I met Suzanne on like the second day of the festival, and she told me, "You're gonna get a self-tape tonight." And I said, "Oh my God, self-tape! I don't even know what that is. I had never done one before." And then I got the email, I read the scenes, and the scenes of the audition was the first scene where she wakes up and she's kind of talking to herself, a scene with Father Vincent, and one with JC. And I thought, this is cool. This is in English. I can act in English for the first time. And then I read the information, lead Netflix show worldwide, and I went like, oh, that's never gonna happen, because I'm a little old Portuguese actress. But yeah, I just had fun with it, with the self-tape, and I had no expectations whatsoever. So yeah, it was a very unexpected surprise.
And
I remember.
when you got offered the role,
Mhm.
one, how did you get offered the role? Was it a phone call? Was it an email? And two, who was the first person that you told?
Well, I remember I had to do 2 phases of auditioning, because the first phase, Simon Barry called me and he said, "We're all convinced, it's unanimous, we want you, but we need to convince Netflix because you don't have a presence worldwide, so they need to be convinced." And so I did another round. And I remember it was 11 o'clock at night in my house in Lisbon, and he called me, Simon, and he said, "Hey, Warrior Nun, how are you doing?"
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Hello, Mr. Barry, how are you?" I didn't rationalize. He's like, "I'm good. How about you, Warrior Nun?" And then everything fell, and I think I dropped a little tear, and I told my parents, naturally. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. And then you go on to playing Ava. I mean, what sort of preparation did you have to do for the role, for the show?
Well, I arrived a couple weeks earlier, also a bit earlier than the cast, for just to meet the crew and get set up, and for stunt training. However, Ava possesses no abilities in the in the combat training world in comparison to all the other sister warriors who, they're all specialized in a specific combat training. And so I did a little like overall training, physical training, but I did mostly wire work, which was very cool, for scenes like when I get hit by the bus, or when I'm levitating, or
Oh no,
all
you're
of these
spoiling
different.
it for everyone. You're spoiling it.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
damn it.
But I've got to say, I mean, some of the scenes that you're in, obviously, it's apparent that you've had the training, because there's quite a few fight scenes.
Yeah.
Again, I've got to be careful. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, because I've got to say, I've watched the entire 10 episodes, and the end episode, I'm not going to tell you what goes on for any viewers or listeners, but it left me thinking, what the hell, why? And fingers crossed we're going to get a season 2. I mean, if not, I think there are going to be protests and riots for that. I mean, it's such well made and so well written.
Yeah.
I mean, with the group of nuns that you're with, what a great cast. Do you keep in touch with them still? I mean, obviously the show is just out, so I presume that
Yeah.
you called everyone and told them, wow, it's doing really well.
Yeah, no, definitely. But we've kept in contact. I made sure to, throughout the year, because we finished shooting. Actually, it was literally 1 year ago. We
Wow.
wrapped at the 9th of July. So,
Wow.
um, but I made sure to, every once in a while catch up with the girls, and just to know how they're doing. And they all evolved so much, and with new projects and life experiences. And it's so cool to see all of us grow in different ways. But we're still bonded by something that was unforgettable. Yeah, definitely, definitely. We're still in contact.
And looking back to all the filming that you did, what day comes to mind as your favorite day of filming?
Wow, my favorite day of filming. Oof, okay. I remember I I mean I definitely loved just the first week of shooting. I loved. We focused only on the first episode, and it was a lot of solo scenes. But it was so special because I got to explore Ava, and the director Jet Wilkinson gave me the freedom to just improvise and do whatever I wanted, and so that was really special. Also, the last scene was pretty unforgettable. The last scene, which for me was in the flashbacks, without spoiling anything.
Yes, yes. But I've got to say,
Right.
the outfit that you wear at the end
I
is
love it.
awesome. How
Oh
awesome is
yeah.
that outfit? Did you keep anything from the show, or weren't you allowed?
I wasn't allowed because they need to
What?
keep everything spot perfect for an eventual season 2.
Season 2, I was going to say. So
Yeah.
you're only 22 now. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
Uh,
23 tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say happy birthday for tomorrow. And you've
Thank you.
achieved so much already. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Whoa, in 10 years, who knows?
Yeah,
It's so hard to predict our lives as artists. I think any artist would agree, because we're in the top at the top one day, and then maybe the next day we're not, and that's just life, for any actor. But hopefully, still acting. I would love to explore more, writing and eventually directing, but that's something that's fermenting, and I'm still learning. I also love photography. So yeah,
that's
I'm
awesome.
enjoying this time. I'm learning so much as an actress, and but also from other departments of a technical crew,
And you
which I loved.
started quite late in your life, which, to be fair, I was shocked at because looking at the acting talent you shown on screen in the show, because in the show, there's comic moments, there's serious moments, it is like a roller coaster. So to think that you started late in your life, but saying that late, I mean, if I've read it right, 16, I was
Yeah, I was
told.
not a child actress. It's true. Yeah, I started when I was a proper teenager. Yeah, and it took me a while to take this profession seriously, but because I didn't take it so seriously, I just kept working and working, and then one day I realized, oh wait, this is no fun and games anymore. I want to evolve and I want to explore more. So yeah, it's been a ride, a
So
roller coaster as well.
it's yeah, definitely a roller coaster. I mean, when you was young, did you always want to be, an actor, or did you want to go into another career?
Well, I knew I wanted to be an artist. I didn't know what. I played piano for 10 years, so I was thinking of being a pianist or a painter. I also painted, and I still paint, but yeah, those were the two focuses for me, or dreams supposedly. And then acting just came randomly, and I realized I had this passion I had no idea about.
That is awesome. And then, growing up, did anyone give you? I mean, what bit of advice has anyone given you that's really stuck with you while
Hmm.
growing up?
That's a good question. I think some, but I think the most relevant as well, for you and the listeners perhaps, was with Simon Barry, the showrunner. The first night I arrived in Malaga, which was our base, where we shot, we met up, and he told me, Alba, from this day on, I am not the only leader. You are going to be a leader as well, for the next 5 months. And you have to be prepared for that, because if the other actors see you being confident and happy on set, they'll be inspired to do better and to improvise or to just be more present. So being a leader is being a team player, and you have to be selfless, and you have to watch out for your team, and you have to be there when you feel like things are shaky, because it's your responsibility to keep it up with your department. and that really shook me because I had never heard that before, but it makes perfect sense. Not that, I would, being the lead, I would have more power or something. No, it's a fact of just making everyone feel like we're in the same boat and never letting anyone feel put aside or more insecure. Just, yeah, being a team player,
And what
basically.
great advice from a great man. What was it like working with Simon?
It was fantastic. He was the kindest, most loyal showrunner I've ever worked with. He included me in every department because he knows I'm interested in directing and photography and lighting, and he let me shadow him because he directed the last 2 episodes. So that was very interesting as well. And he just made me feel like I was part of. I was not just an actress. I was anything I wanted to be, and he respected me and he treated me like an equal, which was
That is
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
Off the back of this success of this show, as your approach to social media changed, because I know that once someone gets extremely well known, and now you're global. It's not just Europe. It's now literally your face is on the screen worldwide. That must be so daunting. So your social media accounts must be, madness right now. As your approach in the way of what you put on or how you portray yourself changed or going to change with this newfound fame, I suppose.
Yeah, that's an interesting question that I've been thinking about lately, and I think so. I think it will shift a little bit, not for the worse or the better, but simply to be more communicative and to show a little bit more of myself, because I'm aware that I was always kind of running away from my responsibilities, so to speak, as an actress, with my exposure, and this time, there's a new wave of followers coming, and they want to see pictures of backstage with the girls and just know about funny moments and perhaps know more about myself. And I feel like I owe it to them to share that a little bit, but I'm trying to find a balance between showing more exposure, but still finding my integrity and all of that.
Yeah, you've got to have your your privacy, your private life. This is the thing
Sure.
I don't agree with fame, is that as soon as someone's famous, literally, the fans think that they own that star, that they want to see 24/7 what that star does. And at the end of the day, it's a job, and you're very good
Yes.
at your job, and you should be able to clock out at the end of the day, go home, to your boyfriend, husband, whoever, to your family, and have your private time. And I know that a lot of stars like Jude Law, likes to keep his kids private, so they're not exposed. So it's quite refreshing to hear that you're talking about obviously offering a bit more for the fans. But it's nice to know that you've already thought about that, because it can be a scary. I mean, I was interviewing Jules State, that was in Firefly and Stargate Atlantis, and she's quite vocal. She's quite out there on social media, and her approach is that she doesn't care. She's quite thick-skinned. But I suppose for someone that's globally now new, is going to be a different journey. So going on to obviously the cast, you've got a film coming out very, very soon called Fatima. Am I correct in saying that?
Right. Yeah, as well.
Yes. And I've seen the trailer, and it looks wonderful. And there's a familiar face in that film. So if anyone watches Warrior Nun, see if I say this right, because apparently the name, you can say it differently in Portuguese, Spanish, and English. So
Okay.
correct me wrong. Zuquim del Almeida. Did I say it right?
No, but it was close. It's Joaquin.
Shukin.
Joaquin. Yeah.
Swagking. See, this is why I don't learn other languages. And I've
Right.
got to say, us Brits are terrible, because you speak like 5,000 languages, and and us Brits, we struggle to speak one. So, so he stars in Warrior Nun with you, but he also stars in Fatima. What a
Oh.
wonderful movie! When is that coming out for us all to see?
Well, it was going to come out in April for Easter, and now I'm not sure. I wasn't informed when it will be coming out, but soon, very soon, this summer, I
Yeah.
feel. Um,
And did you have fun filming that? Because it stars Harvey Keitel as well. See, I can
mhm.
say his name all right, Harvey Keitel.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Harvey, he shot everything individually because his scenes were from a different time, from all the rest of the cast, so he didn't really shoot with anyone. But yeah, it's a beautiful film, I think, and it's the topic is very sensitive as well, and hopefully people will enjoy it and like to analyze it and talk about it. It was fun. It was very intense. It was so hot when we were shooting it, and we had all of this, you know, all these corsets and everything. So yeah.
And it's based on
But
true events, apparently. So,
yeah, it's
really,
based on the apparition of the Virgin Mary. So
yeah. I mean, it looks beautifully shot. It looks
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. But fingers crossed for the second season of Warrior Nun, because it's such a wonderful show. Do we know when we're going to find out? Or is it a case of you know, but you don't want to say? Or is it a case of as soon as you know, that's going on social media?
I think it's going to be more the second option. Unfortunately, I would like to know, but they're keeping us on on this unspoken waiting game.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful. I think again, people are receiving this show so well, and
Mm,
I'm in awe of I don't know of the response really, and
yeah.
I think Netflix is as well. So
Yeah.
that's a good
I
sign.
mean, it's done fantastic over here. Social media has gone mad over the show, and
Nice.
you know, I've got to say, when I first started to watch episode 1 and 2, looking at the end of the first season, is such a long way. It's quite. It takes that different. I don't know how to best describe. I'm rubbish with describing things, but it
Same.
starts. It ends not that how I expected. Is the
Yeah, yeah.
best way, but it ends fantastic. So, in your own words, why should people, for all them people under the rocks, why should
Mm.
they watch Warrior Nun?
I mean, apart from all the attention that it's getting, you know, reasonably so, this is a show that travels from so many genres like sci-fi, action, fantasy, adult fiction as well, bit of comedy. So I think there's a pleaser for everyone out there. And it's just so unexpected. It's one of those shows where at the end of any episode, you can't really predict what's going to happen because the show just gives so many turnarounds. And I love those specific shows. Also, I mean, badass women fighting. That's pretty cool always.
They are scary. I would not argue
Yeah.
with them in one. You know, I went to a nursery run by Catholic nuns, and it's
Oh,
made me look at nuns slightly different now. But yeah, they're fantastic. Some great characters, and
absolutely.
Beatrice is just
Hmm.
wonderful. She's so sweet, and you want to be their friends, but yet you'll be scared to be their friends in case
Very
you
true.
cross them. So before we wrap up this interview, what is next for you after all this, you know, lockdown and COVID? Have you got any plans in place?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have this month of still doing press for Warrior Nun, and in August I'll start shooting a French film. So that will be nice. And after that, I have a couple of projects boiling as well, but I don't think I can share them yet.
That is fine. Completely
But
understand.
hopefully you'll soon know soon enough. You'll know soon enough.
Is it big? Is it going to be worldwide?
Uh, might be.
Oh, oh, we could turn this into a game. No, I'm only
Yeah.
joking. I'm only joking. You can get into trouble. But Albus, thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure speaking to you, and especially after, you know, watching the show, I think it's cracking, and I can't wait to watch season 2. And you know what? I'm 110% sure that they're going to announce it in the next few weeks.
Oh my
because
God.
it's number 2 here in the UK, and it's in the top 10 in the US, and everyone's speaking about it. So thank you so much for being part of such a great show that I've enjoyed. And look after yourself and keep yourself safe and healthy.
Thank you. You too.
All
Thank you
right.
for your words. Yeah, this was really nice.
It's a pleasure. You look after yourself.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All
Thank
right.
you.